Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And I'm going to bring you a blast from the past real quick. And keep this in mind. This is a video that we did at the time. The information came out around 2015, 16 time frame. And it backs up what we've always been saying, that these BWs have always chosen, well, let's not say always, this most BWs are having these babies by these thugs. So much so that it doesn't matter whether they're professional or whatever. This is just what they choose. Why? Because they want dominance over the children. They want this destruction. That's what men feel, because we're looking at them by their choice. Okay? So basically, this is proof positive that professional BWs prefer thugs over good Afro men to go along with the statistics. And as we talk about the things that's going on with Brother Samuels and on his channel, how it just opens the eyes of many brothers to show you just the treachery that is going on in the thought process, and how there will be no accountability. I would like to back that up with videos we were doing back in 2016 that were taken off of YouTube from Afro people's channel, but on you're able to see my videos on a white person's channel. That's another story. All right, that shows you that this is professional women with jobs, and it's really easy for criminals thugs to have children with them. All right, just listen and learn. Watch this mess. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is the Reluctant Nabi. Hey, back again, a little more of an upbeat mood. I'm doing this particular video because I keep trying, I get involved with a lot of children in the community. I teach stuff, or like to teach stuff, and it's getting difficult, especially when they have a single mother, because certain things, especially when you talk about biblical issues and when you're talking about issues that's going on with the community, that black females in general, when you bring the truth to them or want them to study or research anything, don't want to do it. It's because the only thing that matters to them are their feelings. This is the impression that I am getting. They want to keep their head buried in the sand, all right, and not want to confront what is going on, especially when it is that they are at fault. Now, us brothers been talking about the men as simps, and everybody's been hard on the black man and gave the black woman a pass. All right, but it's time to stop all that BS, and that's the reason why I'm doing this. Now, this is an old report that if you go online, the guy pictured here, his name is Tavon White. Well, let's give you a little more about Tavon White. He is currently in prison. And more on that, while in prison, well, let's look at what I put down here. But while in prison, he was able to screw black women that were gainfully employed by the correctional facility. All right, these are the independent black women with a job. They got their own car and everything. So what do? 4 of them. All right, and the reason why this is significant is they're on their way to jail. All right, but 4 black female correction officers were impregnated by this guy. So they were screwing this guy consistently, is because there are no good men outside the prison system. You know, if you ain't a thug, you ain't a man. All right. So why not have 6 children by this man who was going to be in prison for a long time, and now your behind is going to go to prison. All right. So this is the strong, independent black woman. All right. Now, the last argument that I was having with these sisters, and it turns into an argument when they see what I research. Right. I research what's going on in the community. Where I live is a military town, and most of the brothers are gravitating, that I see, and I have a another friend that's probably going to see this, but most of the brothers are gravitating to women outside of the race simply because they're not going to be chosen by these women. Why are they not going to be chosen? Because the women prefer thugs. Now, this is in a military town, and me and a lady friend of mine, we were in the same unit, and we noticed that at the unit, all the black women are single, and most of the Hispanic, white, and Oriental women have husbands, but most of the husbands are black. Most of them and their husbands have been doing very successful, and they've been in a very successful relationship. All right, and we just took note. Now, my preference is for black women, but after going through the mentality that I've seen, it's kind of open now. Whereas when I first grew up and stuff, I could never think of why I would date or marry outside my my race. Not saying it's a bad or good thing, it just wasn't a preference. And the thing is, I realized that I didn't want to be dealing with triflingness. Alright, I wanted to be able to talk about things that are significant, especially since I'm raising children as a single man, and probably I'm going to end up with a sister raising children as a single woman. But that sister got to understand that, you know, we got to get rid of this BS so that these children will have a chance. With the black women currently, these children are growing up with no chances because because the black men they tend to want to mess with have no future, which means that it lessens the future of the children that they decide to have from those black men. So basically, I was looking at something, and I wanted the people to not forget, or people who haven't known. And for you black women that's going to see this, go do your research. Black women have 2 times the children of black men. Understand, black women have 2 times the children of black men. So what this means is most of the black women are screwing the same bad black men. When they come up with to a good, nice black man after they have all these children and stuff, then they want to give him hell for all the bad choices that they made in their past. All right. Then they want to get mad when the good black man they just gave hell don't want to deal with them anymore and want to leave them alone. All right. So, are black women beautiful? Yes, but their minds are trifling, in the gutter, and they have no principle and no standards. Now, when I say black women, of course we're talking in general. So the black women who this doesn't fit, if it don't fit you, let the water go off your back and start speaking out or speaking to make a change. Is because and this is because the women that are this trifling make women everywhere look bad. Period. Men have too much to lose to take risk on women that's going to look bad. And women have little to lose in that they usually take from a man. At the beginning of the relationship, in the middle, The women take. So they don't lose much. They risk maybe a little more than black men, but they're not going to lose. When they to get in a relationship, most women want to gain. So let's get that out of the way. Y'all, women do not have nothing to lose. They just seek to gain. All right, black men, we need to be careful because this is the trifling minds that we're dealing with. And these women, after they get out of jail, these four, there were 13 total that were involved in this case. 13 women totally that were involved in this case. I'm just putting emphasis on these four is because these four actually are known to have had children, and between the four women, they produced 6 children by this one thug. Oh, and this is not any kind of thug. This was the leader of a gang, a drug gang, and a murderer. So women sought to get in a financial advantage by helping this man to sell drugs in the jail, in the prison system. All right, so these are prison guards helping a prisoner to sell drugs in a prison system so that they could drive his Mercedes. Oh. And these women were actually fighting over this guy in public at the prison. So when they went to work and they were fighting over a thug in jail, in public, as prison guards. Like I said, black women have become stupid. Alright? For you that say not all, is probably you. But for you who it does not apply to, I got one sister that well, she'll know when she see it, but she'll agree. Alright, that this is just stupid. Black women are becoming stupid. This sister ain't as stupid as these black women, though. As a matter of fact, this sister is not stupid at all. She did some things. She's wise. I might need to get her to do a video with me, and she could talk about some stuff. But basically, this is what it is.
The defense is seeking answers in that city jail corruption trial. In a phone call from jail, Tavon White tells one of the mothers of his children, quote, "I'm the big fish they want to catch." White has admitted fathering 4 children with 4 correctional officers while in custody. 11 News I-Team reporter Barry Sims is at the federal courthouse downtown with more on the prosecution's key witness. Barry?
Well, Stan, we'll get to that in just a moment. First, we're going to let you know that one juror was let go today because her child had a medical issue. Also today, Tavon White continued answering questions from the defense about deception and his cooperation with the government. Attorneys for the 8 alleged co-conspirators focused on Tavon White's credibility. They played a phone conversation recorded November 8th of this year at the Howard County Detention Center. In the call, White tells his grandmother that he was made to take a lie detector test because of questions about whether he was lying in some of the statements he gave federal investigators. And if he didn't cooperate and take a plea deal, he could end up with up to 45 years in jail for convictions on federal and state charges. White had already testified that he was the commander at the Baltimore City Detention Center and was in charge of a smuggling operation run by the Black Guerrilla family that brought in cell phones, tobacco, marijuana, and prescription drugs. White said he accepted the plea deal with the feds because my lawyer came to me and asked if I was willing to speak to them, and I said yes. When asked how long it took to decide, White said, "It took me maybe a minute." Focusing on having correctional officers smuggle contraband, White called them a means to an end, saying they did their job, but they were not used to maintain his control as commander, and that correctional officials were teaching new corrections officers about him at the academy. On his membership in the BGF, White answered correct when asked if he violated the organization's oath by testifying. He also said he never really cared about the philosophy, code, or oath of the BGF, saying, "At my heart, no." White's attorney, Gary Proctor, would not comment on his client's testimony, but he did tell us Mr. White would like to plead and walk off into the sunset. Now, White's federal plea deal in this racketeering and conspiracy case could get him a 12-year sentence in federal prison, and that could run concurrently with a 20-year state deal for an attempted murder charge. Reporting live from downtown Baltimore, Barry Sims, WBAL-TV 11 News.
Okay, so people, here are the names of the four women: Tiffany Leander, Shania Brooks, or Chania Brooks, Katara Stevenson, and Jennifer Owens. Alright, and this was some of the information on these four women. So White did get the 12-year in prison after testifying. Some of the people that reported on this was Bosnip and you got report from WJZ, Channel 13 in Baltimore, and Channel 12 in Baltimore. So if you want to follow this, you can go there. And let's not mention the Daily Mail. And I'm pointing out these resources so that these sisters that keep wondering why black men that work and try to do the right thing think so negatively about you, this is it. And trust, this is not the first case of black women getting pregnant in jail by they're working in the prison system and they're getting pregnant by the inmates. It seems that if you want to just screw a black woman, just become a thug and a criminal, because they don't want you as a good man. I'm gonna leave up these pictures of these women right here. So well, I wasn't going to leave them up, but you know, I just wanted to show you what they look like. Alright, so here we go. Black women keep telling the working black men that, and y'all have heard it, all the good black men are in jail, or they're gay, or they're with white women. And black men, we got to understand this logic. With that said, if you are a straight, heterosexual, working black man that have principles that your job is to take care and protect a family, then to black women in general, you are not a good black man. Now, I emphasize the word all is because I'm talking about black women in general, and in a black woman's mind, she's like, "Oh, all black women are are not like that." But I never said all black women. But when black women make this statement, they say all good black men that all the good black men are in jail, or gay, or with white women. They got 1 out of 3. Basically, it seems like if you're a good black man, then you're going to have to go find a woman that accepts good black men to be in their life. And if it happens to be white women or women outside the race, then these so-called black women that think like this need to shut the hell up. Period. You know, it's time to be sick and tired. I mean, I'm sick and tired of the BS, and a lot of black men are sick and tired of it. Now, in closing, let me point this out also. That this man was quick to give up all his sources and everything to cut a deal. He gave up all 4 of these women to cut a deal. That's why I played this particular thing, this particular cut. I might put one more video up at the end of this in dealing with this case. But understand this, people. This dude don't care about anybody but himself. Which means that you have 6 more black children that's going to pop out of these sorry black women, and they're going to have a really difficult time in life, is because their mothers are going to be seen as whores, that of the worst type, that help a murderer sell drugs in a prison while they were employed. This is how bad black women are starting to look. Oh, and black women want everybody to keep their dirt undercover while saying that it's all the black men's fault. At the end of the day, it's always the black woman that chooses what man she lets between her legs. The only case where that is not a fact is in the case of rape. And in that case, I believe that man should be killed. But when a black woman say yes, when they can consent, then they must take responsibility for that yes. And if they are seen as dirt as a result of their choices that they made and how much damage they've done to their children and the community by the type of men that they chose to sleep with and produce most of these children, then they need to suck it up and change. With that said, I'm out. And I think I might drop another video to give you more information about this particular case. But he got 12 years. The women those were some of the women's mug shots, so they're going to jail or prison. They'll probably be looking for some D in prison too. Alright, but these are sisters are becoming trifling. I mean, this is just sad. Alright, now with that,
start off tonight with one of our city's biggest trials in recent memory.
That's right. We got 2 inmates, 5 correctional officers, and another state employee charged in connection with the scandal in which the Black Guerrilla family street gang took over the Baltimore City Detention Center.
ABC 2 News' Christian Schaefer has that story from the newsroom tonight.
Yeah, well, Jamie and Kelly, opening statements came today in federal court in Baltimore. Tavon White, the Bushman, or leader of the Black Guerrilla family inside the Baltimore City Detention Center, will be the government's key witness in this case against those 8 defendants. Prosecutors say members of the Black Guerrilla family street gang used sex and money to co-opt correctional officers, convincing them to smuggle drugs and cell phones into the Baltimore City Detention Center. In all, investigators charged 17 inmates and 27 correctional officers in connection with the scandal. Most have taken plea deals. The trial that started today is for the 8 who did not. 2 inmates, 5 correctional officers, and a jail kitchen worker.
There were things that went on where you'd scratch your head a little bit and say, this doesn't seem to add up. You just saw a lot of lax treatment of some of the prisoners.
Attorney Tom Moronic is not involved in the trial, but he's represented dozens of clients who spent time inside BCDC.
The rumor was that Tavon White and the Black Guerrilla family were sort of running the jail in some capacity.
He wasn't surprised when the scandal broke, but shocked by how deep the corruption ran. BGF leader Tavon White fathered 5 children with 4 separate correctional officers.
To find out it was as bad as it was, that women had his name tattooed on them, that he had children with these women, it was just really the inmates running the asylum.
Now, White will be the star witness for the prosecution. In return, he'll get 12 years on the federal charges, but he's already serving 20 on state charges. And the sentences will run concurrently, so the deal in federal court won't add any more time behind bars. Meanwhile, there have been changes inside the Baltimore City Detention Center. A system for detecting cell phones has been added. There are more frequent and stricter searches of the cells where the inmates live, and a system with more than 200 high-definition cameras has been added.
When you look around carefully, you see it. The cameras are the big thing. And the cameras are sort of like a casino. They're the eye in the sky. They're there to monitor the employees, not per se the inmates as much.
Now, attorneys for those defendants are saying that Tavon White can be expected to lie about their clients if it's in his best interest. That trial is expected to take 2 months, and we'll have much more on the changes that have taken place inside BCDC in the past 18 months on our website, abc2news.com. Live in the newsroom, Christian Shea.
Now, keep this in mind. We have a lot of BWs get celebrity by betraying the real truth about the Afro men. They lied to BWs and told them that they need to leave Afro men alone because we are just so bad, when it turns out that the toxic ones have always been the BWs. And they were able to get that way by consistently lying about the prowess and the nature of the Afro men. Now, what they would do is try to back up the stuff that they were doing, like only dating thugs and jailbirds, and then turn around and they'll complain to guys like Kevin Samuel, well, the men are bad because the men I chose were bad. The men I chose to let come in between my legs are bad. Ergo, the men, because the men I like to choose, which is the thugs, the drug dealers and stuff, the no good dudes, because I like that no goodness and I want plausible deniability because I choose them, then that means the whole kit and caboodle is bad. But the stats state this, that the majority of Afro men do not have children outside of marriage. That means 51%, or now it's 52%, do not have children at all. 36% of the Afro men have wives. And so then the ones that are left over, who are single men that had children, 70% of those pay their child support. So all these 80% of the neglected children that's a part of these 80%, 72 to 80% single black mother family household, that's not the man's fault. That is strictly their fault, because if you listen to this brother talk to these women, they will tell you that they are the ones that destroyed the relationship. They are the ones that felt like their children didn't need any fathers. So now let's get this straight. Now we have women that only want the Afro man only after they start to hit that wall and they see a life of loneliness coming up after that. But the brothers that are smart, the ones that gathered up all their money, the ones that are coming towards this retirement, the ones that can live without all the fancy cars and stuff, but want a good house, want to live by a beach, want to retire somewhere else, we are realizing that we have options. And that options is just to get a passport, travel out, learn the customs of getting a domicile in other lands where you could live happy with a beautiful woman, a young, beautiful woman that appreciates the guidance and the leadership of men in a way that the BWs do not. If you watch what a lot of these guys are saying today in 2021, we've been saying it since 2013. We've been thinking about it since 2009 and giving an opinion, all right? But seeing the handwriting on the wall, all right, this is not new. And a lot of the terminology that you're listening to, a lot of it has come from this channel. A lot of it has come from channels like Sotomayor. A lot of it has come from Rick Scorpio. All right. And so it is what it is. The other problem is that the younger dudes got the same selective listening skills as their single mamas taught them. But understand this. This has been going on for a while, and we've had proof. It's just that the proof keep getting taken down. All right? So brothers, understand this. With that said, I'm out.